Hello, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Parents and Family Forum. My name is Eric Lasan. I'm from Alumni and Parent Engagement, and thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Before we begin, let me share a few logistical items. This session will operate much like a webinar, and the microphone on your computer will not be active during this meeting. We also have Abby Kale, Associate Director of Alumni and Parent Engagement, managing production this evening. We'll monitor the Q&A tab at the bottom of your Zoom screen throughout our presentation, so please submit your questions as you have them. You can also use the chat function if you're having technical difficulties, and Abby will do her best to help. This evening's session will focus on an end-of-the-year wrap-up and a look forward to next year, and also some tips and tricks for folks, maybe our students who either graduates or students who are heading into the summer without as fully formed of a plan as they may have hoped at this point. I'm also excited to introduce our Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Ruth Feingold. She'll be hosting this evening's webinar. Dr. Feingold has served as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences since 2016. Ruth is also a professor of English with specializations in post-colonial studies and women's and gender studies. A strong proponent of experiential and holistic education, Ruth believes that life is interdisciplinary. Working from that perspective, she seeks to find ways for students to connect what they learn at Willamette, both in and outside the classroom, with the world beyond our doorstep. So Ruth, thanks for moderating this event tonight, and I'll hand it off to you now.
Wonderful, thank you. We can move to the next slide. I realized I'm not the person who's moving to the slides. So these are our panelists this evening, which we just moved past very quickly. We're going to skip the immediate introductions and have people introduce themselves as they appear to speak with you. So first of all, I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about commencement this year. We are having our first live normal commencement for 3 years now. There is a commencement website that is up and active on the college website. Eric, I don't know if you can click on that and pull up the commencement website to show folks what it looks like, if that will work. Yeah, so here's our commencement website. If you go to the right-hand little red dot, which can sometimes be a little bit easy to miss, you can see all of the different things. Just tap on that. So the full commencement schedule is there. You can learn about who our honorary degree and speakers are. You can hear about parking, area activities. If you have guests who want to attend the commencement and are not able to actually appear in person in Salem, it will be streamed live. And this is the place where you can get a link for live streaming for commencement. It's probably important for you to realize that there are commencement activities going on all week long. Most of those are things that only your senior is going to be engaged in, but during the weekend, there are other things. There is a baccalaureate service on Saturday. The Phi Beta Kappa induction is Saturday morning. There are open houses being held in all of the academic departments on Sunday before the main commencement ceremony. This is all about the College of Arts and Sciences commencement. I believe Jackson Seemeyer, who is speaking later, is going to be talking to you about the PNCA commencement if there are PNCA parents here. So we can flip back here. Okay, so other little bits of information, staffing updates, just so that you know, we've hired some wonderful new professors to start in the fall. We have a new director of the choirs, Anna Song, who is coming to us with many, many years of experience singing and conducting choirs in the area and beyond. We're really looking forward to having her. We have our first dedicated faculty line in public health for our public health ethics, advocacy, and leadership program, and that is Nicole Irozalardo, who is a specialist in urban planning and climate change and health. We're very excited to have her. And Teresa Hernandez, who is a specialist in Latinx literature, is joining us from the University of Oregon, where she's just finishing up her PhD. We've also just hired Alex Standen, who is a environmental humanities Latin American historian who is coming to us from University of Colorado Boulder. And we will be hiring additional faculty over the summer. So one thing just to alert you to and to have you alert your students to is that We are going to be hiring several more faculty members, and we're going to be adding a number of new classes to the schedule over the summer. Your students will generally have already registered for their fall classes, but registration will be open throughout the summer if they want to add new things, if they want to change them around. So they should keep an eye open, especially if there's something in their schedule that they're not particularly happy with, or if they were only able to register for 3 classes they really wanted and were looking for something else to open up. We also have new staff joining us after Kelvin Clark abandoned the College of Arts and Sciences for PNCA, who we'll be speaking to later in this session. We have hired Aspen Padilla to join us as our Director of Academic Success, and she's going to be starting on June 1st. We also are going to be hiring, again, you'll hear this later, an Assistant Director of Academic Success up at PNCA. And that is really probably the most important information you have from academic affairs. We're plugging along. We are looking forward to a large first-year class for the fall, which was going to be exciting. We'll have a lot more opportunities for students to do things on campus because more students means more participants in different kinds of clubs, different kinds of sports, need for more different kinds of classes. And we are really looking forward to having the old students return to join the new students and have a healthy and productive and successful year. So without further ado, I will move us on to our next panelist.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Oli Munoz, she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm the Dean of Students at Willamette University, specifically Dean of Students for Community Care and Inclusion. And so I'm going to share a little bit about what we've got going on so far in this part of the semester and some things we're looking forward to in the future. So in student affairs, which encompasses a lot of different areas outside of the academic realm for students, one of the things that we're looking forward to as we come up on commencement is some affinity graduations. So what that means is we have 2 celebrations that really focus in on and celebrate students who are LGBTQ queer graduates, and a celebration called Black and Brown Joy that focuses on students of color who are graduating. These are grassroots, from the ground up celebrations that students have fought for and developed over the years, and are now part of our traditions at Willamette University. So we're looking forward to that as we come up on the end of the semester. We're also developing some of our Heritage Months and commemorations moving forward. At the beginning of the school year will be Latinx Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th, where we'll celebrate folks from different Latinx heritage backgrounds. So that includes folks whose heritage is Mexican, Central American, different parts of Latin America, and looking not just at historical or cultural things, but their contemporary lives here in the United States, including bringing an artist and author to speak at both the PNCA campus and in Salem. And then we'll also be planning for Black History Month in February. We're trying to work on developing inclusive student leaders. We have students who are really passionate, really involved, have lots of interests, and we're trying to look for ways to have them make sure that they reach out to all of the students and the diversity that Willamette has to offer. Our current focus is in response to a need, and that's for some better, more structural and holistic mental health addresses and well-being. We're becoming a JED campus, and I'll let Don Thompson talk about that in a little bit. But we're focused on how can we be strategic in addressing students' concerns around emotional and mental health. The COVID has impacted us all in lots of different ways, but almost universally, we have folks who are struggling in some way or another. And so we want to be attentive to students' emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Some of the things that we offer as mechanisms to help students in that realm are things like care reports and wraparound support. What we mean by that is we have weekly meetings where we try to connect with students of concern and see who's best equipped to reach out to students. We have a variety of reports in which any community member can can kind of flag us to let us know that there's a student who is in distress, who's falling behind in classes, who's expressed needing some additional outreach, and then we activate and we take a team approach to that. One of the things we're working on is having some earlier interventions, and that's when we can partner with parents to, honor that students are adults and developing and growing on their own, but also where we can pull in guardians, parents, and family when appropriate to let them know earlier on that there are issues. And so those are things we're developing. Of course, they're nuanced. We're protective of privacy. And like I said, we honor that students are adults. And at the same time, we know that sometimes we have to do more of that wraparound. If there's questions at the end, I'll be happy to answer those. But thank you for being here.
If we could just go back briefly just to the previous slide. I'm Don Thompson. I'm the director of Bishop Wellness Center. Use he, him pronouns. Just clicking there on the JED campus. So as Dr. Munoz mentioned, we became a JED campus in the fall of this year. And I'm just super excited to be onboarding this program. For those that don't know, JED Campus is the national organization, the premier national organization that is dedicated to reducing student suicide and substance abuse and misuse on high school and college campuses. Through the generous gift of a donor, we are going to be, we have started our 4-year process. We're just coming to the end of our first year of JED Campus, which was largely about data collection. So we did a number of things. We had a comprehensive self-assessment where we reviewed all of our policies and our procedures and our supports on campus. We administered a Healthy Minds study to our students, and we had remarkable participation rates in that, where students were able to talk with us about where their needs were and what is happening for them related to their mental health and substance abuse on campus. And then we also just hosted our 2 JED campus advisors for a couple of days in March, where we are just now starting to build our strategic plan for the next 3 years. And basically what that means is we're going to institute policy changes and systemic supports at all levels of the university with the aim of supporting student wellness. So again, it's a structured program. It comes with a ton of support. I'm just really, really grateful to have the support of our donor that did that and bring that on board with here at Willamette. So super excited about that. So, okay, so next slide. So again, I'm still Don Thompson, still the director of Bishop Wellness Center. COVID, my goodness, can you believe that we are now coming to the end of our second full year of COVID? So March of 2020 is when the world just fundamentally changed. All of last year and then all of this academic year was in the midst of COVID. And I think my takeaway for this academic year is that we were able to have a really successful and robust in-person experience. We had in-person classes, we had in-person activities, we had performances, theater, choir, athletic events, contests, and it was a fundamentally different year than the previous school year. And for that, I'm profoundly grateful. And I really think that is due in large part to the hard work of our community. Obviously, we put in place a number of support measures. We had access to on-campus testing throughout. We had dedicated isolation spaces. We were able to, when we had cases, quickly identify and do our case investigation and contact tracing. We were able to get folks moved into isolation. We were able to deliver meals quickly. All of that meant that we were able to respond quickly and allowed us to remain in a really robust on-campus experience. So I'm profoundly grateful for that. I've talked with a number of students and know that they are also very, very grateful for that. So, I always hesitate. I don't want to ever say post-COVID because I think COVID is going to be with us for a while. And if we've learned anything in these last 2 years is that things change all the time, right? So with all the usual qualifiers, I am optimistic. And so leave that there. As it relates to the Health and Counseling Center, as mentioned, we provided a ton of COVID testing to both symptomatic students and students identified as close contacts. I think by the end of this academic year, we will probably be close to a couple of thousand tests that we provided over the course of the year. And again, we're able to do that on campus. We were also able to welcome a counselor physically on site at PNCA to support our students at our Portland campus. And I'm super happy and grateful to have her on board. And I think as Oli mentioned previously, we continue to see really high counseling center utilization on all campuses. And I think that is kind of intuitive. I think we all can reconnect to the mental health impact that COVID has had. And that's definitely showing up in our office, as it is in all college counseling centers. So definitely seeing, we're busy in the counseling center is the takeaway from that. As it relates to returning to campus in the fall, I think a lot of us are in conversations in student affairs and in academics at all schools about how we must be intentional about reconnecting as a community. The past 2 years have been rough, and people have obviously been dealing with a lot of grief and loss and sorrow and apprehension and nervousness and all of those things, and a ton of isolation. And so as we think about reconnecting as a community, I think we need to keep a trauma-informed lens in how we do that and really be intentional about creating spaces and opportunities and support for our students. I know in talking with students for the past couple of years, relationships are harder. Conflict resolution is more difficult. Self-advocacy is hard, right? So all of those things we're really going to be intentional about centering as we bring our campus back in the fall. And then the last thing I'll say is we are going to continue our COVID vaccination requirement for next year. That question's come up a few times, so I just wanted to put that out there. We will be continuing our COVID vaccine requirement. So I will stop there and pass it off to the next person.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelvin Clark, and I'm the new Associate Dean of Students up at PNCA. And when I say new, I started January the 18th. So I can give you broad brushes about what I've learned so far at this institution that I'm absolutely enamored with, because I have artistic ability, but it's not the drawing or the sculpture kind, it's the music kind. So every day I get fascinated by just being in the presence of this energetic community. Now, my area that I oversee includes student life. That includes student activities, so think clubs, organizations, student development, think leadership opportunities, think co-curricular opportunities outside of the classroom, but you can also think conduct, because that develops students in different ways as well. And then also housing. Now, some events that I have seen that has caused me to be sort of energized and sort of enamored with this institution are listed here. So undergraduate students have the opportunity to have their artwork judged by artists who are in the Portland area. And so as an initial sort of step into this world, my goodness, and this is coming from those who are successful already. First Thursdays brings the artistic element brings the artistic center in Old Town and the Pearl right here to our campus. Galleries around the area open up. And because we are coming out of COVID, we can welcome folks to our campus in this way as well. And hopefully we can start allowing our students to sell some of their artwork during these first Thursdays as well. And then Focus Week. We are in the midst of that right now. And so finally, our students, our undergrads at least, have come to the culmination of their artistic abilities so far here at PNCA. And it has been absolutely marvelous. Now, new resources. PNCA is the newest college to become part of Willamette University. We completed the merger in 2021. And one of the great resources is our new academic dean, Jennifer Cole. And you all will have a chance to meet her in the fall. But I wanted to give you an introduction. This is Jen Cole pictured here, not me, as you can see. But Dean Cole has 4 amazing goals. When we think about this idea of culture, she's thinking about operational culture. Coming in with 2 institutions merging, how can we reach operational excellence? Where do we have gaps? Where do we have holes? And where do we excel? The next part, and I appreciate Don's talk about this with care. We are coming into a brand new world. So how are we caring for not just our students, but our staff and our faculty as well to make sure our community as a whole is healthy? Despite the term starving artists, we want no parts of that idea. We want our students to think about multiple streams of income and how you can be the successful artist and not starving. And then last but not least, we think about community, not just sort of our campus, but the broader Portland area. To think about collaborations with other art galleries, businesses, and of course, research. Now, when we think about new resources, other people are coming to our team. Currently, I am in search for an assistant director of inclusion and intercultural engagement. And again, like Don Thompson mentioned, the ability to communicate after coming from these screens all the time, that's something that our students are lacking. And in many ways, they've lost development because of COVID. So how can we acknowledge and say, I see you, I know what you've been through, how do we form a new community here? The second piece, an assistant director of student success. Learning on a computer is really different from learning in the classroom. So study skills, time management, it's going to be a whole different world. So our director or assistant director of student success will teach some of those essential skills, but also helping students realize like this transition coming out of COVID, but then from high school to college, it's going to take some time. So making sure students are aware that it's okay to mess up along the way, but you have support. And last but certainly not least, an assistant director of accessible education services to help our neurodivergent community find ways to be successful inside and outside of the classroom. So things to look forward to in the fall. First year seminar, and I'm so excited because this will be my first fall, and there's nothing like fall energy coming in. So we will engage the Portland community with our students, and then they will focus really on that artistic development. And in their foundation year, they get to use the liberal arts plus studio practice to develop their craft. And so I'm looking forward to welcoming your students and looking forward to continued communication with you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackson Seamer. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am our Associate Director of Student Life on the PNCA campus up in Portland. I wanted to first touch on just some of the areas of focus that I oversee. Kelvin is my supervisor, so I report to Kelvin in the Office of Student Life. Specifically, some of the aspects that Student Life oversees are our clubs and organizations. So those are all the different ways that your students might be able to get involved outside of the classroom, either in something that they may have as a hobby. We have some that are focused more on the different making areas, like painting and drawing club, for example. I advise both of our student councils, that is our BFA undergraduate student council and our graduate student council. And those are kind of the representative leadership bodies for those two groups of students. They consist of different leadership teams and are open to every student, depending on their classification of an undergraduate or graduate student. I work with our students to host different programs and events. I'll talk a little bit about some upcoming ones that we have at the end of this semester and coming up at the beginning of the fall semester. And then I also work in the areas of student supports and resources. I serve on our care team. It can help direct students to various resources either on campus or in the general Portland area. Some of our upcoming highlights for the spring semester that we're really excited about in that vein of programs are events. Student Life on the PNCA campus helps to oversee and coordinate our spring commencement ceremony. We will also be returning to an in-person commencement for the first time since spring 2019. So we're very excited about that. All of our information can be found on that same website that was shared earlier. There is a tab for PNCA information. So the schedule, a link to streaming. We will also be streaming our event if you cannot be there with us in person. Information about parking, if you need any kind of accommodation at all of that same information will be found under the PNCA portion of that website. We will also be having our annual end of the year party for the first time in person since, again, 2019. And we're very excited about that. That is on the last day of class where we welcome all of our students, all the members of the PNCA community, faculty, staff, to just come together and celebrate and have a good time to end our semester. So we're very pumped to have that be happening back in person. Coming up at the beginning of fall semester, we'll be having our new student orientation, where all of our incoming students, whether they be transfer students, first-time students, it doesn't matter. If they're new to PNCA, they come to orientation where we have a great program shaping up for them, both informational, informative, and ways for them to connect with each other and start to build community for their time here at PNCA. We'll also be following that with our week of welcome, where we have a series of events the first week of class, just getting them excited for the first week that they're there, giving them something to look forward to for the rest of the semester, also helping them access resources or be a point of wayfinding for them if they may be lost. We know that first week can be especially challenging, finding your way around, knowing where to go when you need something. So we will be there for them in that way. All of our events that we do are posted both on the Today at Willamette website and on Homeroom for those who are PNCA students specifically. And then as an arts campus, our students are generally very visual. And so you can also check around for a campus for different flyers that you may see. We find those to be a very effective tool for people who are in the arts. Thank you all.
I'm sorry, I could not unmute. Thanks, Jackson. My name is Emily Morris, she, her pronouns. I am the Associate Director of Student Engagement and Leadership at the Salem campus, and I'm representing a bunch of different opportunities and activities for students. So I'll say a few of them, but we oversee all of the clubs and organizations on campus, fraternity and sorority life, campus recreation and the outdoor program, community engagement and community service programs, our campus program board, the Collegian, the student-run newspaper, opening days, new student orientation, and many more things. So that's just the short list of things that we do in our office. And today I just want to talk about a few things we have on the calendar. So May 7th through 13th, I know Ruth mentioned this earlier, we are having Senior Week that our office is sponsoring. We have lots of activities and events for students and families, and that's linked here. So hopefully Abby can put that in the chat for you. It's on our website. And we'll be, we've already sent some printed material to seniors, and we're going to have a big printed sign of all the activities and events on campus and everything. So really looking forward to that. We haven't been able to do a lot of these celebratory things in a few years. So it's very exciting. We're also planning fall welcome activities to welcome all students back to campus. So our office is coordinating a bunch of student organizations and other groups on campus that host events and activities and putting together a big master calendar to give to students. So we'll give physical copies. We'll have big posters all around of welcome back events that will take place the entire month of September, including the first week of classes, which is the end of August. So from opening days, new student orientation, all through September, we're going to have a nice menu of choices for students. And then if your student is looking for a leadership opportunity for the next academic year, so there are a lot of available right now. They're all on Handshake. So those include coordinator for Blitz the Bearcat. I advise our mascot program. So we're looking for a coordinator. Or if someone wants to join a Willamette Events Board and help plan events on campus, or be an outdoor program leader, those kind of things. They're all on Handshake. And they can also contact our office for assistance finding something that might be a good fit. I do a lot of one-on-one involvement advising with students. They drop in our office, or they can contact me via email, add something to my calendar, and talk on Zoom. So if your student wants to get involved but doesn't know where to start, send them to our office and we can help them out. Thank you very much.
All right. Hello. Thanks for being here. My name is Anne Lepore, and I am the Associate Director in the Office of Career Development. I work on the Salem campus, and I head up our career advising and our career education programs. So I oversee our career-related courses and the career advising that we provide to students. Our office does serve several entities. So we provide career development not only to the arts and science students on the Willamette campus, but also, or on the Salem campus, but also on our Pacific Northwest College of the Arts campus in our Talent Hub, and then also our Masters of Science in Data Science program and our business students as well over at Atkinson. So we touch a lot of different places within the larger Willamette community and provide career development at really all stages of that process. So from first year students who are trying to figure out what to major in, to students who are graduating and trying to figure out what that first step is going to be post Willamette. So we serve the whole spectrum. Because we do cover a lot of areas, we have had a very exciting year over in career development. Our team has grown a lot quickly, which has been great. So we're now a staff of 11, and we've had several new hires this year, which you can see in the slide there. So we have designated folks for a lot of our different career communities and clusters. So I think I'm going to continue the theme in talking about what we've been able to do this year, and say that we've gotten to do more in-person events than we've been able to do for the past couple of years, which has been incredibly exciting, as everyone else has mentioned. So I'm not going to mention it all, but we've had a particularly fun spring this past month of April. We've done a lot of programming, one of which has been our Life After Woo sequence that we launched at the beginning of the month. Over the course of the month, we've had over 30 alums from Willamette come to campus or participate virtually, but many of them on campus and in person to meet with students and talk about their career journeys, network, provide resources, and talk with students about their career development. It's been a really fun month. We've also provided several follow-up workshops to those and to that initiative that have covered most all of our branches of career development, everything from law school to negotiation workshop, to trying to figure out what it is you want to do with yourself after Willamette. And I also wanted to mention our advisor, our RenGen Deloitte Pathways Program career advisor, Jessica Davis, has launched several new initiatives specifically serving underrepresented students. That has been incredibly exciting. She hosted a program called Empower Hour, where underrepresented students had the opportunity to connect with alumni, also from underrepresented backgrounds. She has launched a lunch series for a source of communication and opportunities to talk about career development, as well as funding opportunities for students who need funding for various professional development initiatives that they might be going through. So that's been a really amazing addition to our staff and to our programming. So summer, it's not too late for your student potentially to find something this summer if they haven't already been doing that. As an advisor, I start working with students very early in the academic year on their summer plans, but there are still plenty of things to be found out there. There are internships, there are certainly part-time jobs, and there are also volunteer opportunities as well, which sometimes people don't necessarily think of. But summer is a great time for a lot of things. If you have a student that's interested in graduate or professional school following Willamette, summer is a great time to begin that research process, to begin application documents, to begin reaching out to programs and just starting that whole process. We in career development don't leave during summer. We're still around. So if students want to take advantage of summer months to get a jump start on plans for postgrad or for their following year, we're certainly around to still take appointments. Grants and fellowships are also something where it's in many cases crucial that students start working on those applications over the summer. Things like the Fulbright program really have to be started early, and we're around to help with that. If your student is looking for a job or internship, it is getting a little late, so they're going to need to get creative and a little crafty. And again, we're still around to help with that. Students can schedule appointments with us on Handshake. I would recommend some very targeted, proactive networking from those students. That can be intimidating, though, and we get that. We get that not every student is excited to hear the word networking when it comes to their career development. And so we take at least I take a very hands-on approach with helping guide them through that process. It's also can be a nice opportunity to what I call piecing together some things. So can they find a part-time, what I would call pay the bills job over the summer and pair that with something where they might get to do something much more professionally targeted. Another reminder, if a student has landed an internship, and if it happens to be of the unpaid or low paid variety, our office offers numerous sources of funding that students can apply for. And that happens through the Office of Career Development. And that application, though, is due this Friday. So if you have a student that would apply to, then they should get in touch with us sooner rather than later. And students can also earn academic credit for internships that they do over the summer. I oversee the Internships for Credit program that's run through our office, and I'm happy to help students figure out how to apply for and go through the logistics necessary to make sure that they get academic credit for their summer internship if they so desire. So we're happy to help with that. There's a few different resources listed in that very last bullet point at the bottom. Our office has really tried to make the most of our different sources of communication this year, particularly social media. And our Career Talk newsletter is a wealth of information every single week. It comes to every student in their email inbox. So that's another great place to look for opportunities, programs, funding, and job suggestions as well. So thanks for being here.
All right, we are now open for questions. And I don't know, Eric, do you want to stop sharing at this point and get everybody's faces back so people can see us? We did have one question that I saw came in about whether, given the uptick in COVID cases, there will be an effort to require audience members for on-campus events to wear masks. I mean, I would say that we're about to have basically no more on-campus events with audiences. We have finished our performances for the year, and we have no idea where things are going to be in the fall. We always deal with what is going on in terms of current public health guidance. But Don, I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think we have throughout this pandemic aligned ourselves with what the State of Oregon Oregon Health Authority public health guidance is, and we'll continue to do that moving forward for sure.
Okay. We've got a couple of questions. One is, when do current first-year students choose their on-campus housing for the fall? That is sometime in July. Kelvin, I think you've got a better answer to that than I do.
Yeah, I'm going to send it out. I'm typing it currently. I'm almost
okay.
done.
That only goes to the person who's asked it, though, not to everyone. And it might be that other
Sure. So May 21st, which is Friday, your student should be receiving housing information and the application actually opens. So that's really when the process begins. And so applications or students will be notified about their housing arrangements July the 26th. So applications open May 21st. Decisions will be known by July 26th.
Okay.
Munoz, if you have anything different.
No, that's right. I know there was also a question about current room selection. So if you're a parent of a current student and have questions, the best outreach is to housing@willamette.edu. They can help direct you or answer any questions.
We have received a question about 2020 graduates and what we are doing for 2020 graduates, and that is an excellent question. Members of the class of 2020 are being invited to our alumni reunion, which is, I want to check very quickly, the second weekend in June, I believe.
9th through the 12th.
Yeah, 9th through the 12th. They are going to be provided with one night's housing free of charge, courtesy of the dean's office, and they're going to be provided with free admission to the Saturday night wonderful festivities, which Eric could probably tell you more about, courtesy of the alumni office. We're hoping to just celebrate them, welcome them to the community of alumni at the same time, and give them an opportunity to spend time with their classmates and enjoy that last time together that they didn't have the opportunity to do in the spring of 2020. We got a question about students from Tokyo International University returning in the fall. We actually are having students from TIUA being here for the first time in the spring. We have just welcomed the new director of the American Studies program for TIUA to campus. Yesterday was her first day on the job. She is going to be spending the fall part-time here and part-time in Kawagoe in Japan, getting used to the systems there, talking to students who are coming over, and we are having our first class join us back in the spring. We are delighted to have them back. They are a very important part of campus life, and we're looking forward to the next 55 years of our relationship with TIU. I don't see any other questions waiting to be asked right now. Abby, do you have anything for us? Nope. This is the professorial moment. I wait for a full minute. And if no one has
there is one that came in. Wondering if Kaneko Commons Dining Hall will not be open until spring.
I have no idea. Oli, do you have more of a sense of that? So
I don't know, but I can definitely get that answer to Eric to disseminate. Maybe in a future newsletter or something. I'm sorry, we don't have that answer.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to Kaneko reopening because of the hand roll Tuesdays. That's, good hand rolled sushi on campus. We do not want to miss. Yes, the Japanese students are not coming back until spring 2023, somebody has asked. COVID protocols during graduation. Graduation is being held outdoors. Graduation is extremely well ventilated. We are doing some department open houses, maybe in indoor spaces. Others will be held in outdoor spaces. There's going to be a lot of movement. Anybody who wishes to wear a mask to protect themselves is absolutely, absolutely welcome to do so. That's, if anything changes in terms of public health recommendations, we will make some changes. But right now, that is what we're planning for. Again, Don, if you have any additions to add. Okay.
Nailed it completely. It's an outdoors, really well ventilated, and that's what I'm expecting.
Jackson, what about PNCA commencement?
So PNCA commencement is held indoors at the Tiffany Center in downtown Portland. We are following all public health guidelines from the state of Oregon and the CDC. We'll also make masks available for those guests that would like them. And then our reception will also be held indoors back on campus at the 511 building. But similarly, masks will be available for those guests who would like to have them.
Okay. Oh, here's a fun question. Do we have recommendations for restaurants for families to book for grad festivities? So depends on what time of day. In terms of downtown restaurants, I'm going to make a pitch for Amadeus, which is one of my favorites, which is about 4 blocks from campus, has a really wide range of food. It's got vegan, it's got gluten-free, it's got tri-tip. It has almost never disappointed me. I had one experience of bad service there, but other than that, it's been a great go-to. The Sassy Onion in the other direction, which is just about a block off campus, is a really nice breakfast place. So if you're looking for pre-commencement meals down in Salem, I will also make a pitch for a very sweet little spot called the Black Sheep Cafe, which you have to drive to from campus, not walk. It's about a 5-minute drive. They are also a breakfast and lunch restaurant. Amazing food. Small, but they do take reservations, quite affordable and really very nice. I open the floor for other recommendations.
Epilogue, Wild Pear. Oh yeah, there's some things in the chat. Also, Lively Station. It's a little south of town. Is a personal favorite. I enjoy Lively Station.
I vote for Epilogue.
Yep.
I have not been able to get a table at Epilogue yet. I'm just saying, but.
Ruth, there's also a question about how families would find out about departmental commencement activities.
Every department is having their open houses in the same 2-hour chunk before commencement. And I believe that's, I want to say 10:30 to 12:30, so that then there's a little break before the ceremony. That information should be up on the website. If your graduates department is doing anything different, then the seniors will be notified about it by their professors. But that is the established time that everybody is supposed to be doing something. Some people might do something on top of that. So Epilogue is definitely the restaurant of choice here, people are saying. Like I said, I tried to go once. I couldn't get a table. So
is that good?
I would avoid I shouldn't recommend against a restaurant. I was going to say the Ram is right next to campus, but it won't feel special because that's where the kids all go anyway. So, try to take them someplace that they wouldn't have gone. Downtown Salem has lots and lots of lovely restaurants. Many of them have outdoor tables, and there's really nice sort of sidewalk dining. There are also a couple, if you really, really want outdoors and you've got a large group of people and they have varied tastes. Again, these are drives, but there are several food pods where you can go to the Yard, which is east of campus a ways, and Beehive Station, which is south of campus. And there'll be a choice of anywhere from 10 to 15 different food carts, and everybody can get what they want. And there's a beer cart, and you can sit around in a garden and enjoy yourself. So,
Analysts feel strongly about food in this town. My goodness.
Well, we haven't gone to restaurants for a while.
I know, it's very exciting.
It's like food, restaurants.
That was a good question.
People are putting up all sorts of restaurant websites here. Okay.
So is that how we'll end, or are there any other last questions coming in?
There was a question about a schedule of student art displays or projects at PNCA that would be available to the Willamette main campus students if they wanted to attend. And I believe Kelvin is working on a reply, but I'm actually kind of curious about that myself.
So,
go ahead, Kelvin.
So Focus Week was mentioning today at Willamette. So for current students, they can contact the schedule there. But if a mass email is needed to be sent, I can share that schedule today.
And I would recommend, I was able to attend a First Thursday event, and they do that, I think, on a monthly basis. And it's an exhibition that's open to the PNCA campus, but certainly all Willamette students and staff. And it's a really fun event. They have a reception, and they have music playing, and they open different exhibits. And it's a really good time. And all you have to do is go on the PNCA website, find the link, RSVP, and show up.
I will also make a small pitch for the fact that PNCA is fantastic and Focus Week is really, really exciting. I've only done it virtually. I have a cold, or I would have been there in person this week. But also we do have studio arts here on the Salem campus, and the senior studio art majors have a show mounted in the Hallie Ford Museum, which is really pretty special to see. So if you're trying to do some art viewing, you can do these on both of our campuses and get a full sense of some of the work that Willamette students are doing.
I will also say that, so First Thursday does happen on the first Thursday of every month. It is an art walk in downtown Portland, and PNCA participates in that. And those shows from our students are actually very unique and interesting because they're most often just pop-up shows. So students will just kind of randomly guerrilla style install what they want to install. There will also be, exhibitions in these specific gallery spaces. The Focus Week work that is up this week will also then be installed the week after classes. They'll be spending all that week installing their work for their thesis exhibition. That will open with the commencement reception. That might not be the most opportune time for Salem campus students to come up and see it, but following that Sunday evening, they've been more than welcome to come up to the PNCA campus and check out any of that Focus Week work that will then be reinstalled.
Okay, and remind us what date that is, not just the day of the week.
So the commencement reception is Sunday, May 22nd.
Okay, excellent. All right. I think perhaps after the discussion of restaurant choices, everybody is now ready to go home to dinner or out to dinner, perhaps.
All right. Well, then I'll take my cue to wind us down and just thank Ruth and our panelists for your participation this evening. And hopefully our audience found this information valuable. I certainly can't help feeling really great about the year we've had so far. And we have a lot to look forward to for next year as well. So to all of you who attended this evening, thanks for joining us. And we hope to see you at some of our forums that we'll do again next year. Take care, everyone.